with Central Research, a government contractor out of Arkansas that is one of our 8 finalists in our Small Business Tournament of Veteran Champions as we continue our pursuit to find the most veteran-friendly small business in America. We have a tremendous group of finalists from all across the country, and Dr. John Dillard, the CEO of Central Research, we're so thrilled to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, of course.
So we are at the point now in the competition where we've got eight tremendous finalists, and now it is up to you, the public, to help us determine who moves on to the final 4, which we'll announce on May 17th. You can vote up to once a day between now and then for the employer that you feels most deserves the title of most veteran-friendly small business in America. We'll announce that final 4 on May 17th, and then the winner will be announced in June, and we'll get a trip for 2 to Los Angeles to attend the Spike TV Guys Choice Awards. It's Spike's biggest award show of the year. They will also receive a custom spot produced by, and that will air on Spike TV, recognizing them for their veteran-friendly efforts. So, Dr. Dillard, again, thank you so much for joining us today. You are a business that has have been in operation now for over a decade. You yourself are a service-disabled veteran, served in Vietnam. So, sir, thank you so much for your service. And we would love to hear from you. I know you mentioned in your entry that you and your son, Scott, kind of conceived of this company while sitting over the kitchen table, and would love to hear how Central Research came about and what your mission is.
Well, Scott and I looked for a period of 3 or 4 years about a business that we would get into and develop a family business. And somewhere along the line, we stumbled onto an opportunity to start something that we didn't have to spend $500,000 on. We started with a very low budget operation. I think we lost $20,000, $30,000 the first year, but fortunately from that point on, we've excelled and done well. And we also, in starting our business, wanted to do something to help the veterans of America to transition from the military or even out once they're in the civilian world again. We know that many of them have a difficult time finding work, and that we just felt like it was unfair. And we want to do something for veterans and disabled veterans as best we could. We didn't feel like we were going to change the world, but we did feel like we could make a small difference, and we are.
So tell me a little bit about what exactly your business does. How do you help veterans?
Well, our HR person here at the company has directions from me that she uses all the resources possible to find veterans that are want to make application and have the capability to work here at Central Research. And some of them just simply don't have the technical skills we need, and that's sad. And we're actually trying to find some contracts now where the veterans, would not necessarily have to have the higher skill levels and technical skills that our people do now. So we're conscious that all of them don't necessarily fit into the mold that we want as far as being strong in technical skills and administrative skills. But that's one of our requirements now.
Well, I know you've been very active in participating in some of our job fairs, some of our Hiring Our Heroes fairs that we've had, and over the past few years. Can you tell me about your experience in those, and then some of the folks that you've discovered at those events?
Sure. Let me tell you about one lady that I think this was the first job fair we attended after getting back to Arkansas from Virginia. Went to a job fair here sponsored by the local Chamber of Commerce, and a lady come by, and she was probably around, I'm going to guess, 60 years old. Not that that made any difference, but she handed me her resume, and I looked at it, and I'll be darned, she was a veteran. And I looked at her credentials, her resume, and said, hey, you know, you have some skills that we may be able to use. So we met privately in a place, and in 15 or 20 minutes, I said, well, when can you start to work for us? And she actually shed a few tears, saying, hey, I've been in Northwest Arkansas almost 2 years trying to get a job, and you're the first one that's even looked strongly at my resume, much less hiring me. And she was very thankful and actually come aboard and worked for us until her retirement about a year or so ago.
Oh, that's a tremendous story, and we commend you. We commend you for doing that. I see about a quarter of your workforce are veterans, and you have another more than 10% that you say are military spouses. So you certainly made a commitment to have the men and women who have served our country as part of your workforce.
Indeed, and as I can tell you, that the spouse is definitely the other half of the military veteran.
Absolutely, we could not agree more. We have a standalone military spouse program here, and even do some fairs exclusively for spouses. And today actually happens to be Military Spouse Appreciation Day, so certainly a day to honor those men and women who, as you said, serve right alongside the service member. I would like to hear a little bit more about your efforts within the community. I know Central Research is very active in supporting and then committing volunteer hours to local and national veteran organizations. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Indeed, I am the state vice president of the Armed Forces Foundation. In fact, Arkansas is the only state that has a state organization of the Armed Forces Foundation, and I've been active in that for about 5 years now. We do a lot of things. We work with the Toys for Tots, which, as you know, is a Marine Corps Reserve activity. Basically, our company has taken over the leadership of that the last couple of years. One of the things we do for the local VA hospital is we go down there and fulfill some of their requests to help them with different things around the VA hospital, and we're particularly glad of that. We also are always looking for things to do. Once a year, we send out what we call our hog opportunities. That's handing out gratitude, and of course, as everybody knows from Northwest Arkansas knows, the Razorbacks are our hogs. But handing out gratitude basically is care packages that we send to GIs that are overseas, and we frequently get comments and letters of thank you back from them. And again, that's not the reason we do that, but we do it because we think it's the right thing to do.
Well, that sounds great, and you've touched on some of this, but for veterans that are watching, why should they consider working at a company like Central Research?
Well, first of all, we are very veteran friendly. We actively seek veterans to go in our organization. One of the things that one of the perks, if you will, and it's not a big thing, but it is to us, on Veterans Day, I should say, all the veterans here don't go to work. Everybody else does. So that's a way that we reward our veterans for their service. And just a little thing, but we go a step further to recognize them, that they get a paid holiday there where the non-veterans don't.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes it is just the small things like that. And I see with the lanyard around your shirt that you are a Marine veteran. How do you take your own experience and apply that into leading your company?
Well, many of the things I learned in the Marine Corps 40 years ago, we still to apply to people within the company here. And I guess one of the main things was that we expect a lot out of our people, and we're fair, we're firm, but we expect a lot out of them. And I have found throughout the last 40 years or more than 40 years that I've been in a leadership role that if you don't expect much out of people, guess what? You're not going to get much out of them. Mm-hmm. But if you expect a lot, you're going to get a lot. So we expect a lot from our folks here, and usually we get it.
That's great. Now the big question here, we have a very strong group of finalists. Why should anybody watching, why should they vote for, why should Central Research get their vote to be the most veteran-friendly small business in America?
Well, as far as we're concerned, Central Research has already won. not the prize itself, but the fact that what we do is encourage veterans to come to work for Central Research. We don't do it for the notoriety. That's fine, but it's kind of a sidebar. We do it because it's the right thing to do. And we would encourage all businesses out there, large, small, veteran or non-veteran companies, to look seriously at hiring veterans. They have worked for our nation in the past. Give them a break. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the caliber of employees you will come up with.
Well, John, that's really well said and a great way to conclude. And again, I just want to remind everyone that's tuning in that this is your chance. You can vote up to once a day through May 16th for the company that you believe deserves the honor of being identified as the most veteran-friendly small business in America. And tune back in right here on VetNet on May 17th, as we will have all 8 finalists together and bring you the big announcement of the Final Four. So stay tuned for that, and then we'll look for the public again to help us determine the champion. So, John, again, thank you so much for joining today, and really appreciate all you do, and thank you so much for your service.
Indeed.